Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of 5 for Foster, where we here at the Foster Festival ask Norm Foster 5 questions about his plays or his writing or just anything at all. I'm Emily Oriold, the artistic producer of the Foster Festival, and hello, Norm. Thanks for joining us again.
Hello there. I just noticed that my black is fading into the background. Like a big chair. Geez.
I love it. I love it. So I have 5 questions for you today. As you know, we are about to do a production of your play 1812. It's a world premiere production. But before I ask you a question about 1812, I wanted to ask you, how does it feel? This last 2 years have been pretty hard. You haven't seen many of your plays on stages, certainly not here in Ontario. So now that things are opening up, how does it feel to know that you have quite a few of your plays now?
It feels great. Yeah, it's really getting busy. I'm going to be in Ontario for much of this month and June and July, seeing stuff. A couple of new plays happening, and I'm going to see 1812 in St. Catharines. So I'll be traveling all around, and it's really a difference from like the last couple of years where I've been here in Fredericton, and that's it, here writing. And now I get to go and see the fruits of my labor come to fruition. I don't know. So yeah, I get to go and see the stuff that I've been working on. And I get to see it, put on stage. So it's pretty exciting. It's pretty exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and we're thrilled to be able to present this play and to know that our fellow theater companies around are also doing your shows. It's time, and we're grateful that audiences, and I know as an audience member, we get to see your shows produced, and we get to laugh again and lift our spirits because it has been a long 2 years of closures. So thank you for writing as many plays as you did during
Well, get me busy,
Yeah, exactly. So 1812, we did a virtual reading of it last June in 2021. And we kind of, at the time, we were joking a little bit about maybe doing this show outside at Fort George in Niagara-on-the-Lake. And now we are. So how do you feel about that? What do you think about Fort George as the setting?
I think it's a great idea. I think it's a terrific idea to do the play where, in a fort, a military fort, because the play is about the War of 1812. So, it's about a small portion of the War of 1812, the beginning of it. So I think it's a great idea. It's fantastic. Yeah.
That's awesome. And actually, it feels quite timely considering what's going on in the world today, because the play is about 2 neighboring towns, really. I mean, there was a border. It is technically the United States, and it is New Brunswick. And so do you have any thoughts on that and how this play kind of reflects or echoes what's going on today?
Well, I got the idea because I live in New Brunswick, not far from St. Stephen, in fact, and Calais. And I've been to Calais many times, and St. Stephen. And I got the idea because I read an article that said that during the War of 1812, Calais didn't have any gunpowder to celebrate their 4th of July, and they asked St. Stephen if they would loan them some gunpowder. Listen, the enemy, could you loan us some gunpowder so we can have some fireworks on the 4th of July? And St. Stephen said, yeah. So they gave him some gunpowder, and I thought, well, let's take this a bit further. What if the neighbors refused to go to war at all? What if they just said, no, we're not, we like these people, so we're not going to fight? So that's what the play is about. That's what the basis of the play is, with the whole 4th of July fireworks thing thrown in. So it's based in reality. And of course, they're fictional characters. They talk about King George, who was in England. I think President Madison was president at the time in the U.S. and they talk about them. So yeah, I think it does reflect a lot on today. There's no shortage of wars, God knows. So I think it does reflect a lot on what's happening today. Plus, again, our neighbors to the south, America, strongest country in the world, so we're faced, we're faced with this every day, about having this power just to the south of us. So there's a lot going on in this play that reflects the real world, of course.
Yeah. And what do you think is the biggest message in your play that you want audiences to take away when they leave?
I think the biggest message is that we're all, we're all alike. We're all alike. Um, we meet a couple of people from Calais, from the U.S., and we meet a family from St. Stephen Canadians, back then called Upper Canadians, and they're all the same kind of people, and they all want the same things. But they're a couple of the people, the carriers from the U.S. are told, well, we should think this way because we're at war now, so we should probably invade. And he's in their living room, the Canadians' living room, and he's talking to them, and he's announcing that they're at war, and the woman says, well, she turns to her husband and said, well, should we capture him? Well, he's right here. So all these decisions they have to make, and these new problems that come up. So yeah, there's a lot going on in this play besides the war. A lot of personal feelings. There's a romance between an American, actually a Brit, and a Canadian. There's a lot going on. The father has been thrown from a horse and he's kind of lost his memory. He doesn't remember his daughter's name and his wife's name sometimes. So there's a whole lot going on in this play.
Yeah, and you've kind of answered my next question, but I'll ask it anyway. How do you make a play about the War of 1812 funny?
Yeah, that's right. And I think, well, we start with the neighbors, with the neighboring countries. And then we start with the neighbors coming and visiting each other. And there's the town drunk. The town drunk is such a big drunk that he's both town drunks. He's the town drunk of both towns. So little things like that. And then as the play goes on, one of the characters decides that he's a Brit, and he decides that he should do something to contribute because Britain's been so good to him that he signs up for the Canadian side and to fight the Americans. He goes down to New Orleans, and then the problems of the war, the aspects of the war come into play there, and then we see a serious side. That's the serious side of the play. So again, there's a lot going on, and not just comedy, but it's so. This situation is so easy to grasp comedy from, to pull comedy out of. It's these two neighbors they won't fight, So it's a natural for comedy. But then there's of course, it's a war. The serious side, you have to touch on that too. So I've tried to do that as well.
Yes, and often in life we find the humor in those even sometimes darker moments, and that's. I mean, you're so good at reflecting real relationships and real situations on the stage, just like how we experience life. And I think that's why we can laugh so easily when we watch your plays. Yeah.
I try and do that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's it. That was it.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
Done. So
great.
There you are. Thank you so much, Norm. It's always great to see you. And until next time.
Okay.